Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Next week begins the string of 100-point Kentucky Derby prep races, March 22nd, 1 week from today. This video is going to be at Fairgrounds Park for the Louisiana Derby, one of the most grueling preps that goes a mile and 3/16, and it's a 100-point race, like I said. Just a quick announcement. I apologize if I led anybody on too far. I really thought I was going to run a handicapping contest with sponsorships, but the sponsor was restricted to have anything to do with gambling and such, handicapping and things of that nature. So that fell through. My apologies there, but I'm going to have some giveaways. I'm going to do, if you notice, the Derby 151. This is a t-shirt I made myself. So I might make a couple of t-shirts to give away to some good picks coming up. Some Derby glasses. I got about 20 Derby glasses that were duplicates. So I'm going to give some of those away. So we'll still do the same kind of format. So all you have to do as a viewer, subscribe to the channel, always be smashing that like button. But for each of those 7 races, post in the comment section your winner. And the first person that hits the winner will win the prize. And I might go too deep. Maybe the first 2 people that hit the winner of the race gets a prize, and then we'll get in contact for address, and I can, shipping, that'll be on me. So make sure you're subbed. Like I said, hit that like too, and let's get into this thing because we've got 10 horses, and we start with John Hancock. Morning line favorite is 7-2, wire-to-wire winner first out. Then he won convincingly to Sam F. Davis, where he really had to earn it down the stretch fighting off Owen Almighty. And we saw what Owen Almighty did with the eye-popping wire job at the Tampa Bay Derby. Pace or no pace, call it what you want, he got the job done. He's an early speed horse that might struggle if the pace does get hot to hold on down that long stretch drive at Fairgrounds, but it should be a good litmus test to see where he's at for Brad Cox. So Flavien Prat aboard again. If he's left alone, it's probably a done deal. But with his strong pedigree and performance, he's definitely a top contender, worthy of the morning line favorite. Number 2, Chunk of Gold, is 8-1. He ran second and passed Built in the Risen Star at the late stages of the race. The Risen Star we saw was won by magnitude going away, and it's really hard to judge those types of races when the horse breaks loose down the stretch like that, because there's no catching them. So you don't want to press your horse too hard. So I kind of feel like Chunk of Gold took advantage on the inside and got that. But he also has a win in 2 second place finishes in his own right. Made the move from the all-weather Turfway Park. He ran second in the Leonidas. Then in the Risen Star, he was moving pretty good on the turn. Luan Mikado went to the outside, then the inside to the rail. So good idea about doing that. He did help get him the second place finish there. I think both of those factored in. Number 3, Tiztastic. That is the horse trained by Steve Asmussen by Tiz the Law, of course. The young colt has been quite consistent, just can't win. Runner-up street since last fall, 3rd in the Kentucky Jockey Club, another good effort. Rinse and repeat for the Southwest. Then in the Rebel, he was 5th, but still ran pretty evenly down the stretch. So he's going to be picking off horses. I think he's got the stamina to last the 9.5 furlongs. And Joel Rosario getting them out is a godsend. Maybe he'll help get him going early, get Keith Asmussen off that horse and see what he can do with a regular-sized jockey. So number 4, Yinzer, 12-1, $1 million horse who's yet to produce results at all, really. I followed him several races. He was set up to win early, it appeared, but failed as the 120K maiden special weight, horses like Mo Quality and such. Then all the way to the 4th try, he was down to 55K. That was Risen Star undercard. He was able to get the job done there. So 11-1 odds at a dropping class like that. Ben Curtis aboard. He's outclassed, in my opinion, even though he is $1 million horse. Maybe he'll develop later in life. Who knows? Number 5 is Caldera, strong contender, 5-1. Dwayne Lucas, really fought getaway car, who I'm very high on. If you follow me on X at Billy Ho Sports, subscribe to the channel, give a like, all that good stuff. And he gave him all he wanted in the Sunland Derby. My preview video, I noticed how fast he broke from the gate in his maiden win. So I thought, well, he's very dangerous. He didn't really get as good a break in the Sunland, but he came up on getaway cars outside turning for home, and it was on down the stretch. He poked ahead, but lost ahead bob. Ultimately, Tyler Gaffleone gets the mount. Caldera, definite contender. Number 6, Built, a staple of the Fairgrounds Park winter meet. Driving in the LeCompte, Jared Loveberry split the inside horses and looked like he had it all the way. But look out for that long stretch drive at Fairgrounds. He got caught by, I believe, disco time in that one. Then he went on to run in the Risen Star. No disco time there, but he did finish third. And like I just said, arguably the best performance of the preps with that magnitude wire job blowout. But Jose Ortiz is hot fire. So Jose Ortiz gets the mount. Good post position 6 for Built, being the stalker closer type. So I think he's a definite factor in this race and should be good value. Number 7, Vassim. That's a Todd Pletcher trained horse, 12-1 morning line. Began his career with a victory at Gulfstream Park. Followed that up an allowance optional claiming at Tampa. Irad rode both of them. Irad Ortiz, that is. Most recent start, he did finish 4th in the Grade 2 Risen Star Stakes with Irad aboard. He fell back around the turn. He looked like he was coming in there from the stalking position again, but then he kind of fell back too far. And then after they hit the turn, he was walled off by like a string of 7 or 8 horses across the track. And he had to go around them all, and it did finish up positively, but we'll have to see. We'll need a better strategy this time around. So number 8 is Furio, sort of a new one. 12-1, Brad Cox Barn, second career start. Furio wire to wire, 6 furlongs, maiden special weight, as the 4-5 favorite, getting it done. Stepping up to the likes of Instant Replay, who's in the field. He ran a front end race again in his next out, led most of the stretch, but could not hold off that closer, Instant Replay, who is in this race. We'll talk about in a minute. But he could be a factor on the pace with his stablemate, John Hancock. Luis Saez gets the mount. So, number 9, that does bring us to Instant Replay, 6-1 morning line. Brad Cox did his early work last fall where he broke his maiden going 8 furlongs. I like horses that win at Churchill Downs as a juvenile. Went on to Oaklawn to face 125K optional claiming horses. He went up against the likes of Sandman, who we've all recently seen run at Oaklawn, and people are clamoring about a bit. Big Boat and Calling Card, all contenders in their own rights. He was right with them until they made the turn for home. It was just going a mile, but he backed off before they hit the stretch. So that was a bit concerning. But you fast forward to February at the Fairgrounds Park, and the stalking trip by Florence Rowe was able to get the job done at 100K optional claiming. And he ran down the rival Furio in this race, who was leading wire to wire. So Flo Garreau, home court advantage for him. That leads us to number 10, Hypnus, who's 12-1. That's Kenny McPeak, Brian Hernandez, hook up. So by Into Mischief, new shooter, 1 for 2. The maiden win in Fairgrounds was nice in the slop. Great rally down the stretch. But then pace setter Yinzer faded. The 5 Dorteo was all over the track, but no matter. Hernandez cruised by for the win. I think maybe I thought at first McPeak was being ambitious by sending him right to the Grade 2 Rebel at Oaklawn, but he broke well. He got to the rail. He saved ground. He looked good. He was closing ground at the turn, but as they straightened home, he had some traffic trouble. For a young horse like that to get that kind of traffic, he just kind of backed away, shied away, so to speak. So, but he did handle himself well, and that's nice to be in big fields with traffic for people contending for the Kentucky Derby for obvious reasons. But I'm not sure I'll get there with Hypnus on this one. I need to see one more out of him. But that's the field for the race. My early leans, you got to look at the big dogs. John Hancock, Caldera probably are most likely and next likely. But I like Built. I've followed Built. I've been pressing Built since he won the Gun Runner. He almost got it done for me in the LeCompte. And so I'm probably going to stay with him, but I'm going to dive into some past performances when they come out. I'll have a better idea toward the end of the week. Other horses, I think late pace is definitely going to factor unless it's an absolute crawl fest. But you got instant replay 6-1 closing. You got Vassimo, who's a stalker. As post position come out, like I said, we'll be able to dive in, and I'll have another video out maybe with the final bets and part of a late pick 5. You also have the New Orleans Stakes with the return of Sierra Leone. Another video will be out for that very soon, so stick around for that. Remember to sub to the channel and smash that like on your way out. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you soon.